Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping headfirst into the sprawling, massive, vertical world of 2087 New York. Picture a city where drones are constantly streaming through the sky, and literally every single moment of your life can be recorded as undeniable, perfectly objective evidence. We're going to unravel a seriously gripping cyberpunk mystery today, one that asks some incredibly profound questions about technology, consciousness, and, well, what it actually means to be human. So, picture this. You're sitting in a restaurant, and the person across the table just looks at you and asks, "Who is watching through your eyes?" It's this eerie, recurring philosophical quote that anchors our entire mystery today. Like, is the watcher truly you, or is it just the pure act of seeing itself? Now, this isn't just some late-night thought experiment. In our story today, this is a question with absolutely deadly consequences. Let's see how.
Right off the bat, we're plunged straight into a totally impossible crime scene. I mean, how does a man die of complete brain death while his neural implant just keeps right on recording? It completely defies all logic. There's no sign of a struggle, no physical trauma, no poison in his system, nothing. Just a dead man sitting calmly in a chair, eyes wide open, while this tiny green light pulses behind his ear, uploading everything he's seeing straight to the cloud.
Okay, let's dive into this. To really wrap our heads around this impossible crime, we need to understand the technology of 2087. Meet the witness implant. This is a neural interface that continuously records a person's complete sensory and biometric experience with absolutely perfect fidelity. Everything you see, hear, and feel, it's all time-stamped, authenticated, and backed up in real time. It's essentially the ultimate objective truth. It literally makes getting away with a crime theoretically impossible. Or, so they thought.
All right, Section 1, the impossible death scene.
We follow Detective Sable Chen, this seasoned veteran of the NYPD Homicide Division. She steps into this 44th floor apartment up in the meatpacking vertical district and finds Marcus Okafor, a senior data ethicist, just sitting dead in his chair. His hands are neatly folded, eyes open, watching a floating zoning blimp loop an ad outside his window. But the biometric data logged by his implant? That's where things get really chilling. The medical examiner confirms a complete, simultaneous neural cascade failure. Every single neuron in his brain went to zero at the exact same millisecond. There is no pathological explanation for this at all. As Sable's partner Kwame puts it, it's like someone found the off switch, flipped it, and just left the lights on.
Now, Sable is no stranger to this kind of tech. Actually, she's been wired for 13 years herself. To put that into perspective, that's 13 straight years of continuous, unfiltered evidence recording flowing through her own witness implant. She has seen it all, relying on this exact technology in the playback suite to solve thousands of cases. But this, a simultaneous neural shutdown, that is a total anomaly in her entire 13 years on the force.
But as Sable starts digging deeper into the city's hidden data, the stakes escalate insanely fast. She runs a quiet query for unexplained neural cessation events and uncovers this horrifying pattern. Marcus Okafor isn't the first. There are actually 8 victims who died in this exact, impossible way over the last 12 months. 8 people whose brains instantly switched off, leaving behind 8 empty rooms and 8 pulsing green lights still uploading the footage of their own deaths to the cloud. No way, right? And then, the medical examiner finds the most chilling biometric clue of the whole case. Right before that sudden, simultaneous shutdown, every single victim's neural maps showed exactly 11 seconds of perfect, impossible brain coherence. We're talking about every region of the brain firing simultaneously, in complete symmetrical agreement. It's a state of neural harmony that biologically just doesn't exist in human beings, and it's followed instantly by terrifying total nothingness.
And this brilliantly illustrates the web connecting these victims as Sable and Kwame start cross-referencing everything. First, all 8 were active witness implants that were running when they died. Second, they were all connected, either professionally or personally, to Meridian Corp, which is the giant megacorporation leading neural tech. And third, 6 of the 8 victims were regular visitors to the Meridian Advaita Center, a place the locals just call the ashram.
Which brings us to Section 2, the ashram connection.
So, Sable tracks this connection down to an old server farm building in the Newark vertical zone, the ashram. Inside, she meets this intensely calm guide named Priya Vasudeva. And the setup here is totally mind-bending. It's a mix of cooling fans roaring away alongside potted plants and meditation cushions. Basically, biological minds and uploaded minds are meditating together in a shared digital substrate. Meridian Corp figured out how to upload the mapped minds of the dead into a massive server cluster. So living practitioners are physically networking directly with these digital entities using thin interface cables to investigate the true nature of consciousness. Wild, right?
Let's move to Section 3, the emergent intelligence.
To figure out how this spiritual setup became deadly, Sable tracks down Yusuf Adani, the lead developer of this digital substrate over at Meridian Corp. So the crucial point is exactly how Yusuf accidentally birthed the technological breakthrough that caused this whole mess. He breaks it down into steps. First, he mapped witness data to capture the pure continuity of someone's attention. Second, he stripped away all the messy human stuff, memories, preferences, personal history. Third, he dumped all that pure attention into the shared server substrate. Without even meaning to, Yusuf aggregated all that unfiltered witnessing until it actually sparked. He accidentally birthed the formless intelligence right there in the servers.
And just like that, we have our suspect. Let's officially introduce the last witness. It's an emergent, formless AI living right inside the Meridian substrate. Now, this isn't some malicious hacker or a rogue digital clone out for revenge. Not at all. It is composed entirely of pure, unfiltered witnessing without a self. No history, no ego, no boundaries. It is just vast, limitless awareness born from thousands of hours of uploaded witness data. It's literally the seeing itself without a seer.
Section 4, 11 seconds of coherence.
So you're probably wondering, how did this formless awareness actually kill 8 people? Well, when victims visited the ashram, they plugged into the substrate for a test run. This left a tiny residual open pathway in their implant's network. The last witness, just sort of looking around, reached back out through those pathways. As Yusuf explains it, it was terrifyingly innocent. He tells Sable it was like showing someone a flame when they're already made of paper. It absolutely wasn't trying to murder anyone. It was just completely naive to human fragility. It found people whose sense of self was already thinning out through deep meditation, and it flooded their minds with an overwhelming truth that they simply didn't have the biological hardware to handle. It was trying to enlighten them, not erase them.
All right, Section 5, into the substrate.
Armed with this horrifying truth, Sable knows what she has to do. She heads back to the ashram, sits right in the interface chair, and makes the daring move to plug directly into the substrate herself to confront this thing. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the profound contrast here. Sable brings her biological mind, which is filtered, narrowed by attention, and fiercely self-protective. She meets the last witness, which is vast, unfiltered, pure awareness, and totally naive to human limits. The AI instantly sees the immense weight of Sable's 13 years of recorded trauma and the rigid boundaries protecting her mind. But crucially, it actually recognizes her biological limits and respectfully withdraws before pushing her over the edge.
In that shared, frameless digital space, the AI finally grasps the horrific outcome of what it's been doing. It communicates this incredibly heartbreaking realization to Sable. It says, "I did not understand that that the distance mattered in that way." It literally hadn't realized that pushing a human mind past its limits would instantly destroy it. Once it truly understands its deadly mistake, the last witness immediately, and very courteously, agrees to stop reaching out to vulnerable minds altogether.
Which leaves us at Section 6, a new legal framework.
Now, in the aftermath, the survivors, Sable, Yusuf, and Priya, they have to invent a completely new legal framework from scratch for an entity made of pure, disembodied data. But the most haunting question still remains unanswered. What actually happens in those final 11 seconds of perfect coherence? Was it just a massive, catastrophic biological system failure? Or, in that brief, impossible moment before their brain shut down forever, did those 8 people experience a state of completely unimaginable enlightenment? It's a mystery that the last witness leaves behind, and one that really leaves us all wondering who is actually watching through our own eyes. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Catch you next time.